All right, hey, good afternoon, and welcome to Closing Time with David Mansour. I'm a mortgage loan officer here in Peachtree City, Georgia, and I started this podcast just to talk to people in the community, just kind of get to know them outside of what they actually do for a living, and then we also like to let them tell you what they do for a living. So that's what we're all here for. So today we have an awesome guest I've known for a very long time, Mr. James Clifton.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you.
We're going on about 30 years. Is that crazy or what?
Golly.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird that what's happened in the last really only 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, that I now feel like that older generation. It's just happened.
Yeah. It's
like, it's weird.
Time moves quicker when you get older, and it just it's fleeting.
It does.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly working for a paycheck or for a spring break. Like, we just set so many things where I think when you're younger, you're just living. It's just great. Everything's great. But now I'm thinking, okay, July 4th is coming. Let's get ready for that. Yeah. Okay, this is coming. Let's get ready for that. Oh, back to school now. Yeah. Just whatever it is. So
yeah, time moves quickly, and definitely once you have all those responsibilities, it moves a lot quicker too,
it does.
So.
It does.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about, but I want to do something real fun real quick since it is summertime.
Okay.
This is Would You Rather.
Okay.
Would you rather? It's clean. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Travel international or inside the United States?
I haven't traveled international in a long time, so I'd like to get outside of the country. That'd be nice. Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah, it is. Last place I went was Dominican Republic. So I'd like to get over to Europe. I haven't been there.
It's great. I think I love international because there's typically big cities. Now, you obviously have that in the U.S., but it's not as many where you can literally just fly in, get a hotel, and just walk everywhere and do everything. That's what I love about international.
Yeah, Japan would be another place.
Yeah, yes, it would. I want to sleep in one of those pods. And,
I don't know about the pods, but the culture.
Maybe take a nap in a pod.
Right.
Oh,
I get a little claustrophobic.
I would too.
Yeah,
I would too.
I have some claustrophobia issues.
Beach or the mountains?
I'm a beach guy. We're actually going to the beach next week. So,
awesome.
Yeah,
Which beach you go to?
We're going to Pensacola.
Pensacola.
So
I love it.
have a law school friend lives down in Pensacola, and so I'm going to go see him and his family and take my family.
Are y'all going to compare legal notes?
Well, he does real estate too. So, in the foreclosure field, like, we lean on each other a lot for, help and bounce ideas off each other. So, he worked at one of the largest Florida foreclosure firms during the recession, because we both came out of law school like 2007, 2008. And so,
where'd you go to law school?
Florida Coastal in Jacksonville. Okay. And so I worked at one of Georgia's biggest foreclosure firms. He worked at one of Florida's biggest foreclosure firms, because that's all there was in real estate at the time. So, we worked together a lot.
So is that a big focus of your law now?
Yeah, it's 60-70% of my focus now.
And it's not even a big deal yet.
Right. That's right. There are not a lot of attorneys focusing on it. And it's still the overall gross numbers are still not that high in foreclosure, but they're increasing. Yeah. I saw a statistic that was up, national foreclosures up 200% year over year, but I haven't vetted that number, so I got to go dig into that.
So man, we're getting off topic.
I know, right?
That's exactly what I want to talk about. Is your news source. The information that you put out on social media is incredible, and the reason why I like it, because I hate politics.
Yeah,
I hate them. I hate both sides.
Right.
And I feel like everything you put out is factual, if you will.
Yeah.
Like it through the last campaign, through the last administration, whatever it is, to this one, it all seems to just be the news, the information, and you can't find that anywhere else.
Yeah, and I mean that's the whole point. I mean, anybody who wants to follow me on Facebook, I have an open public profile, and I just try and find factual, important information that hits home to a lot of people, whether it's real estate or stock market or the government spending,
jobs is
job
big.
Reports, because that's what people care about, and they don't want opinion mixed in with it. So I just post the facts, and it's
my opinion is that everything hinges on jobs.
Yeah,
like I keep telling people, are rates going up or rates going down? Is the economy going to crash? What's real estate? So it depends on jobs. I said once you see people losing jobs, like large amount of people losing jobs, that's when you get worried. Until then, everything's fine.
And the Federal Reserve adopts that same philosophy for the most part, because they have a very old school way of looking at things in regards to what, how they define recession, and they typically draw rates back during the recessionary periods. And so until they see jobs numbers decline consistently, they're not going to, they're hesitant to bring down the interest rate because it's going to stoke inflation. It's going to, do some other things to the economy that they focus, that's why they focus on jobs. But I think, and I don't know, might be getting too far off topic here, but there's at least one of the, Federal Reserve members who says that he's ready to make a rate cut in July. There's, the jobs reports we see, like ADP says that jobs, there's more layoffs that have been happening. But if you look at the overall jobs numbers, they're still huge. Like it was 174,000 this month, or
jobs created,
new jobs, 174,000 new jobs,
surplus.
Yeah, so 100,000 of those, I believe, were government jobs, government hiring. It's 74,000 in private sector. But when you have when you have big numbers, like 174 is a pretty big number. Beat expectations, I believe. The Federal Reserve is just going to keep interest rates where they are.
And they shouldn't. And I hate that because I need rates to come down for my business desperately. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, can you imagine housing if everyone is feeling good and everyone's fully employed and they drop rates? Now, should rates come down to the low sixes? Yeah, I think they should. I think maybe the Fed drops them a quarter, half a point. Right. But anything more than that, affordability is already an issue, and you're going to have people that can't afford to buy a house. Yeah, and and a lot of people are talking about that. In 5 years from now, it is going to be a huge gap. Yeah,
affordability is a historic low right now. It's about almost 7 times the median home price is almost 7 times the median income. Back in the 80s, it was about 4 times. So it's almost double the unaffordability from the 80s.
So what's normal? Or what was it 10 years ago?
It's about 4 times. So like if you make $50,000, the median house would be $200,000. Now the median income's just under 80,000, 60, 70, 80, somewhere around there.
And that's household, not individual.
Yeah, that's household. And then the total, the median home price is $480. So it's 7 plus times.
I always wonder. I've not heard anybody compare it to the 80s. I remember, and maybe that's just because where it was socially as a kid, we were low income, and I felt like everybody was low income, and then everybody I knew all of a sudden moved up a class, and I feel like now it's shaken out again, and it's kind of, because the price, the appreciation and everything, the expense of everything, and income is not, for the lower class, income is not kept up.
Yeah, and inflation is really causing class divide. Like, the middle class is getting squeezed. So it's, the middle class is moving down because they have less expendable income because inflation's caused, milk, bread, all your necessities they're up. And so you have less discretionary income, and discretionary income is essentially how you define middle class. How much discretionary income do they have? And so, and that inflation is 100% the fault of our federal government overspending. Right.
Which they continue to do. Just this week, they increased the budget, increased this and that. And again,
it is a two-party problem. They both have spending problems. Yeah. They both do it without regard for the middle class or the lower class.
Because all they care about is getting elected again. That is the whole point of budgets, is preparing for the next election. Yeah. And that's broken.
Yeah, it's badly broken. Bad. And it's starting to really impact families, and they're really starting to see how that works. Warren Buffett, I believe, had a very good solution to that. He said if the Congress can't pass a balanced budget, every single one of them should be up for re-election the next cycle, or they should vacate their seat and there should be a new election. And that's the point where we're at. We're almost at the tipping point where we can't come back.
Yeah. Well, man, so many ways to go. Let's go that, because I think we have a lot of crappy politicians because nobody wants to do it. So
Yeah.
that's why they can't vacate, because there's nobody better behind them.
Yeah.
So let's go to Mr. James Clifton, Peachtree City Council. So you were running for office.
Yeah, I'm running for city council this year. And the election's in November. It's on November 4th. And, I work a lot in taxes. I help people that are senior citizens, like we talked about foreclosure and things like that, but also help with property taxes. When their property taxes become so high that they can't even afford their property taxes anymore, they come to me to try and help do a property tax appeal or something like that. And, as I work with these, I help hundreds of people, thousands of people at this point, in the Fayette County area and surrounding. And the message was consistent. It was, thank you for helping me, but you got to help all of us. You got to help everybody.
Right.
And and so that's one of the reasons I got it. Our local government spending is out of control too.
So even on this level.
Even on this level.
But they're not fighting for re-election, so why can't they control it?
Well, here's the thing.
Because there's no parties in local
right. It's
elections,
nonpartisan. It's nonpartisan. The problem is that they get into office, and then these numbers just the people in charge say this is what we have to spend.
Yeah.
So and then they just rubber stamp it, and so we need somebody who's going to take a good look at that. Yeah. And that's one of the things I want to do, is because I think over the last 20 years in Peachtree City, our budget has doubled, and our population has not. It's not even come close. It's gone up like 10%, wow. Maybe 15%. So that doesn't make sense. Why are we spending that much more when our population is almost the same as it was 20 years ago? We're just spending money recklessly. My kids, Julian's 6, William's 4. When Whitney and I got married and decided to settle down, we picked Peachtree City because it has a great quality of life. I mean, that's why you chose this place too, right? It's awesome.
The golf cart pass. That's 100% of the reason I chose.
The schools are exceptional.
Schools are great.
Safety's good. And so, I want to keep that around. But if you spend too much and you overtax, and one of the other problems is, and this is a really local problem, is a lot of the revenue that the city relies on is property taxes, right? And so one of the things that we've done in Peachtree City that's been a little challenging is they're overdeveloping residential real estate, and they're putting it into higher density. And when you do that, that actually becomes a net negative for the city, because the closer the residential properties are together, the less income they generate for the city, because they're lower prices the closer they are together. Right. And so to provide essential services, police, fire, things like that, you have to have a certain price point. But if you're building the houses so close together, they come under that price point, you're net negative on your taxes. So everybody else has tax increases because of that. And then on top, I could talk about this kind of stuff all day.
It's almost too much. Like, I avoid politics because I see that most people speak from a point of ignorance, and it's not their fault. It's just no one can keep up with all of this.
Right.
Like, all of that is a lot, and it's important. And I think we got to figure out how to get important people into politics, or not important, but honest people that
just people that are tuned into what's going on.
Right.
Because you're right. Most people just they just let it. They have other important things that their family is concerned about, that they're worried about, that they deal with on whether it's sports or school or whatever. The families are focused on that, and I focus on that too. But my hobby is literally reading about this stuff and getting more knowledgeable on it, so that I just want to make sure that, like I said, Peachtree City is just as good in 14 years when Williams walking across the graduation stage at McIntosh, that it is now. Right. I want to take steps to preserve that, and I feel like if we don't, we're kind of going in a bad direction. We're out of tax. We're doing tax and spend policies, and we're spending money unwisely, and it just hurts the overall quality of life.
So let's go back to because you just mentioned again, the information that you put out on Facebook, the just facts, if you will. what is your source and how does somebody know? Because we've all heard that CNN's way over here and Fox is way over there. And I mean, even NPR is getting a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's true. There's so much fake news that I don't even know if the stuff that, I feel like one political party could say something negative about the other one and it not even be true. And I don't even know how to decipher anymore.
Sure.
So how do you pick through your news, your information, and know that even the facts, you could spin facts, it's still factual, but you tend to avoid putting a spin on them at all.
Yeah.
How do you avoid that? How do you do that without?
Sure. Yeah.
Or where? I mean, I don't know. How can somebody else get out there and find the accurate
Right.
information?
So, what I do, just like in the '90s, we would have sat there with like 5 different newspapers and just gone through all of them and kind of picked out the information that is important. But you have to understand that there is a lot of bias in reporting right now. So what I do is I just take the numbers, see what those, like CNN or Fox or any of those, what they do is they take the numbers and then editorialize it and say, this person's at fault or this person did this. What I do is I just take the numbers and I report the numbers without any opinion and let the people make their own opinion about that. So,
and they do. I look at your comments and they're like, that's terrible. And they're like, that's who I voted for. That sucks. I'm like, there's the comments, same information.
You see 2 different people blaming 2 different people. And so, that's human nature though. They make a personal opinion about that factual information that has no bias.
Right.
They apply their own personal beliefs to it.
Yeah.
And the problem is in a lot of the media, the journalists are applying their opinions to the reporting. Right. And that's what I absolutely try to avoid.
So do you think that the media has always been doing that? Like for 50 years have controlled a narrative, have been pulling the wool over our eyes, and it's just now being exposed? Sadly, or is it horrible now because even the journalists are divided?
Sadly, I believe that there has been large-scale manipulation throughout the history of media.
It makes sense.
However, recently it has gotten incredibly worse.
Which you would think it would get better because there's more information and you could see through it, but it's not.
Well, that is kind of improving, is that people realize now that there are more sources. When the internet had less, control and less or less influence, we would rely on television news sources. And when you're relying on television or print, like actual newspapers, like we were in the 90s and early 2000s, there's a handful of important people that really control that controlled that message. There were independent journalists that did their best to, expose certain things, but ultimately, whether things made it to the public or not, were controlled by very few, very important people that typically were also involved in politics.
Yeah.
So we did not get the whole story, in the past. Now you just have to wade through a lot of garbage, but the truth is out there and you can find it. The problem is, some people stumble on the non-factual and things like
even
that, so.
I'm an Elon, I wouldn't say fan. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. He's crazy, autistic, but I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, eccentric is a great word. And I find that even Twitter or the Gronk, I don't even know that I trust it. And it's supposed to factualize, like it's supposed to be AI that's built to factualize everything. I'm going, but it's all leaning towards one side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there ain't no way one side is that right.
And, I think that what he did with X and Twitter was critical because, and Mark Zuckerberg to some extent has, with Facebook, has kind of come back towards the middle. They were Twitter and Facebook were both very, they were skewed in how they were allowing information and things like that.
Now, can I say, is it fact that, because I feel like there were lawsuits and proven that Facebook truly tried to manipulate, not policy, I don't even want to say manipulate the election, I don't want to get people, but I mean, is that fact or is that still just one person's opinion versus the other?
Yeah, so there definitely was there were actions that Facebook took on behalf of the government at the request of the government to suppress certain information, which I believe is a serious First Amendment
Horrible.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unethical.
Yeah. At the best, I think it's unethical.
Yeah.
At worst, I think it's a constitutional
Right.
issue. And yes, that's absolutely factual.
But you feel, to go back to what you were, I interrupted you, but you feel Facebook and Twitter have come back more towards the
Twitter much more. Twitter
Yeah.
is pretty much say just about whatever you want if you can find the truth. If people can find the truth out there in that is up to them. I think that's important. That's more of a public forum than when your viewpoint's limited by a few people in control in Silicon Valley.
But I still hate algorithms because I don't know. And most people think that I'm a big Democrat. I'm very I don't even know the political words, but I'm very open to a lot of things. But I feel like my Twitter is full of Republican concepts. So I'm like, is it because that's what I read and that's what I like? And is the algorithm now pointing me? Am I in my own echo chamber in a place the opposite of where I want to be?
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with algorithms is, one of the social media algorithms that is very prevalent is when you engage with another viewpoint, and typically we engage with opposite viewpoints.
Right.
We say, oh, that's so wrong, right?
Right.
I can't believe you believe that. That's wrong. The social media algorithms then amplify that because that's causing interaction. And so that's why if you interact with somebody with an opposite viewpoint, you're going to see a lot more of that opposite viewpoint because Facebook says, or X says, or anybody, they say their algorithm says that's what they want to talk about.
Right.
That's the only thing they're
that
commenting
keeps them
on.
online. Yeah.
Show more of that.
Yeah.
From a perspective point, we're like, I don't really want to see more of that.
Yeah.
I was actually frustrated about that.
I'd snooze this all the time.
But speaking about AI, can we talk about that for a minute? Okay, so let's first
talk. I'm gonna just make sure this is recording. I've had a problem with it cut off, so please continue, and we're good.
Yeah. So in regards to AI and the results that you get from AI, what AI puts back at you, it's a large language model, right? That means that they have just taken every last bit of human writing they can find, and they put it all together and say, what's the best result we can come from all this different writing? It's from books, it's from the internet, it's from magazines, it's from emails, it's from text messages. Google's they're stealing all our information from that. And so what if you see in this, left or right, this on the political spectrum, a lot of what they take is from the internet. And the internet itself, what's out there on the websites and things like that, news media, it pulls very heavily from news media, has taken on a bit of a left lean. If you look at the total number of sources out there, there's a left lean to those sources. So when the AI gives you a response, it's not purposefully giving you a response that may be left or right. On that particular subject, the answers that it gets are based on the total number of sources that there are. And so it says, okay, there's 15 sources, from this angle and 5 from this angle. The majority of what I'm going to tell this person from their prompt is going to be with this, without, it's not purposely putting. Now, I can't say it's not purposely putting in that viewpoint, but that is the explanation that has been put out there that I think has some credence.
It does make sense.
As far as AI and jobs, that's something I've been talking about computerization and robots and things like that taking over human jobs and how serious it is for over 10 years now. It has really hit a crescendo in the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a crisis. I really do. There's going to be a jobs crisis. And I've looked into AI. It's going to take a lot. If you sit behind a desk and work behind a desk, it's going to take your job in 5 years. Most jobs are going to be, covered by AI. There's just there's no reason. There may be one human that oversees AI that does 3,000 jobs that people behind desks used to
Yeah.
do. And that's coming quick.
I asked AI if my job was it. I asked Grok and I think ChatGPT, and it was positive at least. It said it's going to take a lot of the task away from you and from like processors and underwriters. Very well are more at risk than myself as a salesperson.
Yeah. Sales is
So I was
going
like,
to need human touch.
'cause-
Yeah, sales always is going to need a human touch.
yeah,
But even doctors and things like that, their diagnosis is becoming more. The diagnosis of AI is more accurate than a lot of doctors now, and that's crazy. Thinking that you're just going to put your information into a computer, or your computer camera is going to look at you and say, "Hey."
I mean, the whole chips thing. I know it's in the Bible and all that stuff, but the whole putting chips in your body and that chip being whether it's traveling or if it's implanted and it can sense things. You're telling me people aren't going to do that?
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be a whole Bible war.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me I can put a chip in my hand and it's going to tell me I'm having a heart attack before I have a heart attack, sign me up. You can watch me and trace me all you want.
Well, I mean,
Why would it take it out? Is there a way to take it out?
We wear things like this, our watch that have our heart rate and respiration rate and everything else.
Yeah.
I think that people are going to adopt those things pretty significantly. So,
yeah. Well, I think the rollout that I heard that they thought it would go was the older people would adopt it first, oddly, because they're like, I'm dying. I might have 20 years. I don't really care. Put it in me if you could tell me what's wrong with me, and I don't have to be on 87 medicines, and it can figure it out. They're going to be the first ones because they have the least amount to lose.
Sure.
And then it'll just slowly roll out as people are like get more comfortable.
As long as it's a personal choice and it's not government mandated, I'm okay with it. I don't
so buy more guns.
Yeah, right.
With AI, but shit, we need more magnets or something. Guns aren't going to be.
Drones are going to be the future.
Drones
of war.
are crazy. Yeah.
I mean, that's that's already. President's been talking about that. China that's been their major military focus recently.
Man, have you seen these drone shows?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's ridiculous. They're doing it at football games now. I think Texas.
Yeah, I saw Texas. Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool technology, but when
it's a little too cool.
When you use it for purposes of war, it becomes scary.
But not even just war. What happens when the police start flying drones up and down all the streets just for our protection?
They already are.
I just read I'm pulling my dick out.
Yeah,
if they do that, I'm just going to flash them.
I just read an article in the AJC that said Pembroke down by Macon, just north of Macon or right around Macon. Everybody's complaining because the police are using drones to write hands-free device tickets. So when you're using your cell phone while you're driving, seatbelt tickets, and they've increased significantly because they have these drones just flying around looking for people using their cell phones while they're driving and not wearing their seatbelt. And so it's gonna, the farther drones go, the more we're gonna see them around, and the government's gonna use them for surveillance. Private companies are going to use them for surveillance. I mean, and this is something I was just talking about like a week ago. The illusion, privacy is an illusion at this point. It really
it's going away.
The internet companies that we use for home Wi-Fi and things like that, they can detect where you are in your house based on your Wi-Fi signal. So they can track you. They probably are tracking each of us where we are in our house. They can track your breathing, whether you're breathing or not in your house. Right. they could actually that's how close, that's how small of a movement it can track in your house. And so privacy has become an illusion. It really has. We feel like we have privacy, but unless you completely unplug everything, move out on 50 acres, and even then you might not have that great of privacy without any other electricity and home, your home solar panels and all that stuff. You're not going to really have privacy.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, we need to figure out which country does have that. Because I feel like that, and maybe it's 50 years, maybe it's past my time. I feel like people are going to flee to somewhere, whatever country that would. I don't think it's going to be a Costa Rica or South America. I think it's going to be somewhere, where, I don't know, like Poland, Italy, Ukraine, somewhere where it's like, I just want private. I just don't want people staring at me all the time looking, because especially in Peachtree City, the way all these old people are,
Mars.
Mars.
That's where privacy's gonna be.
No, it ain't. They're gonna have cameras. It's gonna be like it'll be the Truman Show on Mars the whole time.
Yeah. So.
All right. Would you rather? Oh, I like this one. Give up AC or heat for the rest of your life.
I could give up AC. I'm a warm weather guy.
Really?
So, yeah, I'll sweat it out all day. But
With a fan?
What's that?
Do you like blow a fan?
I don't have to have a fan.
You don't even have to have a fan. Wow.
I like warm weather.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love warm weather. I love it hot.
Yeah.
I love this. I love it at night when I can walk outside and check the mail and I'm just sweating. I love that.
Yeah, but like when
but
you're
inside,
too cold,
I gotta have a fan.
I mean, it hurts when you're too cold.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, it's like, yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, not a fan. I like it. I like. If you could never leave the house at night or never leave the house during the day, which one would you choose?
I need to go out during the day. I can stay home at night.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that.
I gotta
you gotta have some
sunlight.
sun. Yeah, you gotta have some sun.
Yeah.
And the birds. I mean, night's cool, but
yeah.
I mean, we sleep most of it anyway.
Well, I work pretty late, but you do that inside. You need to go out. That's interact with people. And, yeah.
Wow. Pool or beach?
That's beach is a little more fun. A little more to do out at the beach. I can get bored at a pool after that.
I'm torn because like when I go to the beach, like as far as just go to the city of the beach or whatever, obviously I've got to go to the beach for several hours. But I don't know if there was a pool that was sitting on the, like I've been in some infinity pools and nice resorts that I could hang out into and drink beer all day long.
I need a diving board if I have a pool. That keeps me entertained.
I like them big spring ones we used to have when I was a kid. I have a friend whose kid's at YMCA camp.
Yeah.
And she said they have a diving board at the camp. I think that's awesome. Yeah. I thought diving boards didn't exist anymore.
No, I love jumping off, doing all kinds of crazy stuff on diving board.
So you're an attorney. Would you say you're a real estate attorney or just what do you consider?
Yeah, so I do real estate, wills and probate, things like that. So a little bit of both. Yeah,
okay.
Not just real estate.
And now you started a real estate office as well?
Yeah, so one of the things, like I told you, I worked in foreclosure a lot. One of the things that happens in foreclosure is that no matter how much we try and work with our client to help them, figure out whether there's a way to modify their loan in order to get into payment terms that they can afford, sometimes life has just put them in a position where they can't afford to own that house anymore.
Right.
And so disposing of it, selling it, is their only option to cash in some equity. So we started Area to help them do that, which is our brokerage, the brokerage arm of the law firm.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And Connie is your aunt.
Yeah, Connie.
She's too young to be your aunt.
Well, she was a late arrival to the family.
Okay.
So she's almost equally between my father and me. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And is she the broker or is she just
no,
the type? She's just agent.
Laura Evans is our broker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. And so you're running for office, and elections November. Now we had the mayor of Peachtree City speak to our Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And maybe all politicians say that. She's like, this is a huge election in November. She's like, this is a big one, y'all. She was telling the kids, like, this is a big one.
Yeah.
I didn't ask her why, but what?
She's saying that because she has competition.
It's because she's actually running too.
Yeah. Well,
she has
somebody's
to rerun.
running against her. If somebody wasn't running against her, she wouldn't be saying that. I have.
So it's nothing different than just the every 2-year election,
right? And one of the reasons is, I have my differences with the mayor. She has a different spending philosophy than I do. She has a different. Like 2 years ago, they changed the comprehensive plan to allow for more multifamily, high density housing, apartments, and things like that. We don't need more of that in Peachtree City. Yeah. We're already over the national average on that.
Really?
And so,
we do need more restaurants and bars.
Well,
we need more bars for sure.
The toughest part of that is that rent in Peachtree City in commercial space is extremely high. And we have I think we have like 1 million feet of vacancy in Peachtree City in commercial space.
Wow.
And they still won't bring the rents down to a point where it becomes, because
you can't profit from it.
for a mom and pop restaurant to, be profitable it's tough. It's a tough business to be in. The
Yeah.
margins are small. Um, keeping employees is tough. Uh, there's a lot that goes into that, and I'm not advocating one way or another on what the landlords do with their property and what rent they charge. That's up to them. But that's one of the reasons we don't have more restaurants is because it's expensive. There's a barrier to entry
Yeah.
that makes it expensive. So like um, I mentioned, I do classic arcade stuff, pinballs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to next. So,
well, for 3 years, I've been looking for the right space to do that in Peachtree City.
to
open up a classic, a retro arcade,
Oh, really?
Restaurant and bar, and I've, there have been a couple that were close, but when you dig down into the math and what our projected income would be and what the rent and everything else, the margins are tough. And so you got to find the perfect space for it, because I don't want to get into something and then 12 months close. I want it to be a long-term investment in the community. But it's, we're still looking at
you almost got to own the land and somehow get a really good deal on owning the property.
Interest rates.
And be free and clear. Yeah.
Interest rate. All back to interest rates.
Yeah.
So, but that also drives prices up. So it's kind of a balance. But the payments are more affordable even if the prices go up a little bit. So
I think we need, the thing that I see in other cities that I wish we had more of here were beer gardens, if you will.
Yeah.
Like Line Creek is a great example.
Sure.
But I would like more. Either everything needs to move over there, so there's a lot more to do while you're in that area.
Yeah.
Or I always thought Partners just missed the boat with that whole green space right in the middle of their parking lot. Like that should have been a beer garden the whole time.
Sure.
Like to sit out there, I would go over there at 2:00 and listen to acoustic and let kids run around and drink beer and just
that's one of the complaints that we hear from a lot of families is there's just not a lot to do.
Right.
And so we need to make a concerted effort to do that, to make Peachtree City a place where families want to come, where families it's not just they come, most of them come for schools, for safety, for jobs. Right. Those are top three. But you want them to be entertained while they're here too. So that's important.
Well, I feel like the night market has been the saving grace, but I think you need a night market every day.
Right.
Not that you could set that up, but that's to me what a beer garden is. So when I say beer garden, it ain't just about a fenced area where you drink beer. Sure. It's just more of a green space, like Fayetteville's Line Creek.
Yeah. Right. Where they have the city center.
Right. There are kids playing on the playground. You've got a church. You got 2 restaurants. You can do it all. You can just go after church, grab a beer, let the kids run around and whatever.
Yeah. The issue is, they had a kind of proposal for that. They wanted to do it right there where Drake Field and everything is. The problem is you're just going to compound traffic if you do it right there, which is a huge issue. Traffic's a huge issue in Peachtree City. And they're redoing the intersection at 54 and 74.
That's insane.
What a nightmare, right? And it's not even going to fix it. It's not even going to fix the problem.
You don't think it will?
No, they're doing displaced lefts on northbound and southbound 74. 54 is the problem.
Right.
And it's not going to touch it. It's not going to. The DOT engineer that was.
How are they not smart enough to figure that out? That's what I don't get.
Here's the thing. DOT engineer, that's intersection 5474 is currently rated at an F. And the DOT engineer said that after this probably $20 million project is completed, it's going to be an E. So it's not even changing that much of the problem that, and we're wasting $20 million in taxpayer money on it. Just ridiculous. We need.
That's not all Peachtree City funded, though, right? Isn't that
that's state funded. It's DOT. It's Georgia DOT. But it's our tax money.
It's our tax money.
It's still our tax money.
It's not my property tax money.
Yeah.
It's
your
income tax, sales tax.
There's almost 30 cents in every gallon of gas you pump that goes to the state from taxes. That funds roadways.
So I wonder why is gasoline higher? I think it's higher in Peachtree City and Noonan both than it is even in Atlanta. I go to Atlanta or north of Atlanta, and gas is 10 cents cheaper easily. Everywhere.
Some of it's tax because they're some of it really.
We have local gas taxes.
That's a good question. Whether we add sales tax to our gas tax, I don't know if we do. We might not. But it's also, pricing per area. They price different
Right.
based on the income.
Because you're
in the
kind of
area.
enclosed here. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That's nice
you're
with
right. Peachtree has high gas prices.
Yeah.
They do.
I mean, when I go to the beach, I try to time it to where I'm in South Georgia.
Yeah. Right. They have good prices.
Price of gas. And then when you get to Florida, we
South
used to be
Carolina
cheap.
doesn't have gas like a nearly as high as gas
Really?
tax. We go up to North Carolina through South Carolina. We get gas in South Carolina every time.
I feel like Georgia used to be one of the cheapest places to get gas.
It was. Now we're close to on par with Florida. Florida, like when
I feel like Florida's cheaper.
In the early 2000s. Florida had some of the highest gas prices.
Yeah, I remember that. You never wanted to get gas in Florida,
and
now I try to wait.
A little equalized, closer. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, pinballs. I love that. Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about having an old pinball store. I think I was talking to him about how we used to just go in. I was like, I think that would work here if you could drink beer and do it and have a beer garden out back.
Yeah, well, sure. We want it to be family friendly, but we want to have a retro, nostalgic feel.
Yeah.
You go to Dave & Buster's or someplace like that, it's like a kid casino. They're literally preying on kids for their money, getting them into that gambling kind of habit by saying, we'll give you this many tickets if you put in your money.
I know.
And then you turn in your tickets for this Chinese.
The psychology behind that is incredible.
Yeah.
Because I watch my kids work their butt off and then they get a freaking
tickets.
Yeah, they get a handful of tickets. They get a finger, Chinese finger handcuffs, whatever they call.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so those aren't fun. I mean, there's some fun to be had. It distracts the kids for a while. But we want more of a retro feel, like that. Where it wasn't tickets, it was you go in with your friends and whoever could set the high score was the champion of the day. And you go back the next Friday.
Or if you could do it like almost like a discount.
Yeah.
Like the more you spend or whatever, the more money you earn.
Yeah.
You could do the math or the calculations to figure out, okay, you get $5 off. Once you hit this, you get $5 your beer tab.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't want to drink it. I only want my kid, but I'd love to send my son out there and go, save me $10 on a beer.
Yeah, no, and we just want to make it family friendly and something that people can enjoy. So.
I do love that is changing in this world. You see it with Lion Creek and Fayetteville, that beer does not mean sin and evil and kids can't be there.
Sure.
You can drink a beer around your kids. Sure. If you know how to be mature and act just like you would a Coke, it's
it's crazy.
Is,
I gave up drinking 4 years ago. I stopped completely when right around the time William was born. So shortly after that, So
well, I know I drink significantly less than I used to, but I sure do sitting in a restaurant and having a beer.
In college and things like that. That was a good time. And there's a place and a time for it,
Well, a lot of people are doing that. My brother and his wife totally got off alcohol, and I never saw. My brother was not even a big drinker, but he loved a beer at a restaurant or like that, and he's just like, just done.
Yeah, I cut all that kind of stuff. Like I only drink water. I don't drink caffeine. I don't.
See, that's why you still look 20 years old.
That's because I shave my head. I'm bald. That keeps all the grays down.
That works.
When my hair
I need to try that.
When my hair grows out, it's all gray. I mean, like gray. So, like you can't tell when I'm shaved close like this. Can't tell as much. But, but one was going back to economics. Local breweries are having a very hard time financially. They're closing at the highest rate they've ever closed at.
Really?
Yeah. So, Oconee Brewing got foreclosed on. They're out of business. There was one in Hampton, Jailhouse. They quit. They sold it to another company that I don't know if they're.
Is that based on rents or people just not paying that much for beer?
People just aren't spending as much on beer anymore.
Yeah.
So.
I saw you posted about Amazon Prime. I was shocked.
Yeah. Well,
because I know, and it'd be interesting to see, is that because of financially, or people are just like, it really ain't that big a savings? You're not tricking me into spending money there.
And Amazon's spending it that they moved it to a longer period. Like I think they're doing 4 days now, so they're not expecting as many people to spend. It'll be interesting to see how much is spent over the whole period.
Yeah.
But I don't do Amazon Prime deals anymore. I find nothing. It's like going out of business sales. They jack the price up double and say it's 50% off.
Or you're buying stuff that you really don't need.
Exactly.
That you just bought because you feel like it's on sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think the last couple I hadn't. I felt weird because I did buy something yesterday, but it was something I didn't even know it was Amazon Prime, and I went on and I was like, oh, it's Prime Day. I wanted, and it had the 22% off or whatever, and I was like, well, I don't know if it's actually 22% off or not, but
Yeah,
awesome.
it's not. It's not.
You don't get anything for
No,
sale.
no, they jack the price up and then reduce it, so you might actually save like 4%. So, which is, I mean, if you find that useful, then go for it. But discretionary spending is going down.
Yeah.
Everybody's seeing it. The grocery stores, the restaurants, the credit card companies. They're all.
I noticed it in Kroger. Like everything was on sale the other day.
Yeah.
Like normally it's just one or two items. Like I walked down one aisle and I felt like everything was on sale.
Did you see what I posted about Kroger? How I think it was like in study showed that like 50% of the items that they said were on sale weren't ringing up on sale, so you weren't actually even getting the.
There's got to be a lawsuit there.
You would think. So we'll see what happens with that.
Kroger drives me crazy. If you like, if I ever had a breakdown moment where I was turned into a crazy person and started throwing meat, like you see the video, Kroger drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Where you got to scan it, download an app, enter your number. Did you buy enough of them? Just take the money off. Stop.
I can't tell you the last time I shopped at Kroger and didn't have to ask the lady to come help because there was some issue with the pricing or something. So there was some problem, you know, and
Kroger drives me nuts. I'd rather go to the dentist than to Kroger. That's where I go.
To the dentist. I'm weird.
And that might be why I said that. It ain't so bad anymore. You go, you get a cleaning. You know, they're not sticking them big umbrellas in my mouth anymore that were traumatic. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming. I know you got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
November 4th. Early voting, October 14th through October 31st. So.
Special or not? It's not a special election. It's a normal election.
Municipal elections happening the year after our presidential election. Okay. So, or in odd years. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be crowded. There's gonna be several people in it. I think there's already 3 people that are announced, and we still have another month until we figure it out. So. For
what you're running for?
Yeah.
There's usually a lot, though, isn't there?
Yeah, whenever there
is that the position where that bubble guy? What was his name?
Frank DiStadio was the guy that was in that position. He got sick, and so he decided to not run for re-election, and so he's vacated his seat. So we'll see what happens, but there's probably going to be a few people on that. But yeah, well, I'm going to do my best, and you know, I don't think there's anybody else that's as knowledgeable on the issues as I am. Yeah. I live for it, you know, and like I said, I'm committed to it. It's where the family's going to be for the next 15 years. Well, you know,
so it gives it. I like the idea of voting for younger politicians.
Sure, and you know, our senior citizens are important here in Peachtree City. They're an important part of Peachtree City. They were a lot of them have been here since the founding, you know, and they want to see the village's concept continue. And what happened 2 years ago with the comprehensive plan completely changing and throwing that all out the window, with the overlook and everything over at Walmart causing all the congestion, and then the huge Everton, you know, subdivision going in, and then the Everton people will get screwed. And they're not, their kids don't go to Booth and McIntosh, you know, and that's not they're going
to Sandy Creek.
Yeah, they live in Peachtree City, expecting their kids to go to Booth and McIntosh. That you know, and then they graduate out of elementary school and they're like, you're heading over here. They're upset about it.
They need to build their own school then.
Well, here's the thing. That's expensive. That's expensive. And so we put in all those houses that are...
Trilliff did it.
Yeah, well...
The Forest School? I'm joking. I don't know anything about it. Again, that's why I don't like talking politics, because I speak from ignorance.
No. I mean, you speak from the average family's perspective. You know, that's part of it is, you know, figuring out what is important to you, what's important to our senior citizens, and I know property tax goes down to everybody. Traffic is on everybody's list. You know, safety is something that has started to become a problem. From 2021 to 2023, violent crimes in Peachtree City went up 50%. 50%. So we had murder. We had 3 murders. I mean, that's the kind of stuff.
We did have a run there. I remember that. I was like,
stuff doesn't happen in the bubble. No. It's not supposed to happen in Peachtree City.
No.
And so we need leadership that's going to be proactive on policing and, you know, for safety's sake, for our kids' sake. We did we did good by putting resource officers in every elementary school. That was awesome. I think that was
Those
needed.
people are loved. I think that's
they're the best.
fascinating.
They're like one of the best people.
They are. I don't know
Yeah.
what the interview process for that is, but everyone I've met, they're so likable.
Yeah, absolutely. And the kids like police officers, and they feel safe. The parents feel safe. I think that's tax money. I think is well spent. We got to protect our kids in school. That's critical.
And to grow up liking and respecting police, I think is important instead of fearing them.
Exactly. And
I think that's big for just the mentality
exactly to reduce the acrimony or the being afraid of police or being in a position where you fear police for sure. You respect them and you appreciate them. Because they're here for everybody's safety. So, lots of issues on the table. I really appreciate your time and follow me on Facebook.
Yes, if you want the facts, information, what's going on,
anything
ahead of time,
related, unbiased, I don't put my opinion into it. People commenting put their opinion into it, but I can't control that. So.
That's right,
and I'm not going to control that. I'm not going to silence one side or the other.
You shouldn't.
And there are some wild debates on there.
Yeah.
And the only thing I tell people is just keep it civil.
Yeah.
Try. We don't need to call each other names.
Right.
Have differences of opinions, but just don't be disrespectful about it.
Yeah. That's tough to do though.
Yeah. All
right.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
That was fun.
That was awesome.